Thank you for joining us. Today, we're going to talk about relationship resilience. To begin, let's start with a fun study at Carnegie Mellon, demonstrating the link between our social connections and our physical health. Now here, they gave undergraduate freshmen the flu vaccine, aren't they lucky, and found that the levels of participant loneliness significantly predicted lower immune response and the number of antibodies that they produced to the flu vaccine. All of these participants received the flu vaccine, but the least lonely people had the healthiest immune response, whereas the loneliness had the weakest immune response. So we're talking today about the importance and the power of connections with other people. This is not just the positive emotions that we experience and how that relates to our resilience, but the positive emotions that we experience and share on some level with other people, people that we know well and people that we don't know well. That's what we're talking about with relationship resilience. Our own well-being is enhanced greatly when we're experiencing stronger connections to others. As Bob Fredrickson puts it, flourishing is not a solo endeavor. And many people agree with that sentiment. If you look at the Gallup data, you'll see that among those things that are most important to us in our lives are family, friends, and community activities. These are things that rival our leisure time, our faith, and money in terms of how important they are to us. I'll give you another quote. There is nothing people consider more meaningful and essential to their mental and physical health than their close relationships with other people. These connections are very powerful. They lead to more positive emotions and stronger well-being, to lower rates of anxiety and to depression, to lower rates of cardiovascular disease, and to better immune system function. Not just that, the ultimate outcome, death, is predicted by many things, but in a recent meta-analysis, you'll find that there's a 50% increased chance of longevity for those with stronger social connections, having meaningful connections to others, having those close confidants. In fact, those results remained consistent across age, sex, initial health status, and cause of death. If you look at the odds ratios, you'll see that having friends, having meaningful connections to others is as important or more important than things like physical activity, your BMI, and even smoking, as important as your smoking status. Whew. So the bad news here is that our social connections, our number of close confidants, is on the decline. If we look from 1985 over to 2004, we'll see that in 1985, the average number of confidants, average number of meaningful close connections that we have to others was 3. We had 3 people. The most common number was also 3. Fast forward 20 years to 2004, the average number was 2. And the most common number of friends that we had was 0. Went from, literally, it went from 10% of people in 1985 having no confidants to 25% having no confidants 20 years later. And this is before social media really took hold. And the number of confidants was already declining. But the problem with social media now is it can give you a false sense of connection when it isn't one of these meaningful social connections. These aren't confidants. These Facebook friends aren't your confidants. They're not going to be there for you in a pinch necessarily. Research shows that social network size isn't what matters for your well-being. Rather, it's the quality of meaningful connections. And it's important to note that you can have these meaningful connections with people that you don't know well. So what can you do about this? One simple thing that you can do is to provide social support to someone else. Research has shown that providing social support to others is really good for us. Another simple thing that we can do is to be authentic. Just being authentic, perhaps even a little bit vulnerable. This allows others in a little bit to our world, and we can have a better meaningful connection. Now, I'm not saying that you should be oversharing. I'm not saying you should go crazy. This isn't about trying to befriend your workplace bullies or fix a difficult relationship. Rather, it's about taking advantage of those naturally occurring moments and even micro moments of connection with others, and to get out of it what we need for our resilience and to provide an opportunity for others to get something out of it for theirs. This is all covered in Brene Brown's book, Daring Greatly, which is a nice little book if you're interested. So the tool that we're talking about today is One Good Chat. Now, if you remember the 3 Good Things tool, this was about noticing. This was about noticing what went well and over time getting better at seeing the good that's out there naturally and how that enhances your well-being. The way One Good Chat works is quite similar. Over time, as you're noticing good chats that you have with others, you're noticing what makes it good, and you're enhancing your ability to have those small moments of connection, even with people that you don't know well. So the instructions read basically like this. Take a moment to reflect back on a conversation that you've had in the past day that made you feel relatively warm and uplifted. The conversation could have been any length, even with someone that you don't know. The point is that it left you feeling more replenished than drained. It didn't have to be perfect. It didn't have to be spectacular. It just didn't leave you feeling, ugh. So you might recall that you even enjoyed this interaction. So here are the questions. What was the conversation about? And what did you do or experience in the interaction that made it feel like a good chat? And in this way, over the course of several exposures to this tool, you enhance your ability to take advantage of those naturally occurring interactions that are happening around you. So we started off talking about the importance of having positive emotions for ourselves, and by sharing these positive emotions in little moments of connection with others, they could be brief visits, they can be longer chats, it's when we share positive emotions with others that we get the most robust benefits to our resilience. And this even boosts the resilience of others. It's a chance to enhance these meaningful interactions. It doesn't have to be a relationship with someone, just a meaningful interaction that provides this powerful boost to our resilience. Thank you, and good luck with your One Good Chat tool.